Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Wooden Railway Adventures, Episode 164, Wooden Brakes. "Wake up, you silly engines," said Bertram one morning. "It's time to get your day started." "No," said Smudger wearily. "I'm tired. Why can't I sleep in one day during the week without you waking me up so early?" "Because," said Bertram, "you're supposed to be at Boulder Mountain in 10 minutes, and Thumper is not going to be pleased if you're late." Smudger gasped. 10 minutes? Oh, I better hurry. Thanks, Bertram. Rheneas smiled. Bertram has been such a good influence on our railway. "And," added Skarloey, "it's nice to have another set of wheels around so we're not quite as busy." Just then, Mighty Mac rolled out of the shed. "I'm glad you two are awake," said Bertram. "You have an important appointment, remember?" Yeah, said Mighty. "No need to remind me." "Why aren't you excited?" exclaimed Mac. "We're going to the works to finally get rid of these old wooden brakes of ours. Now we can be like modern engines." Rusty was confused. "You still have wooden brakes?" "Yes," said Mac. "We should have gotten them changed a long time ago, but somebody has a hard time with new parts." "It's not my fault," said Mighty defensively. "I just don't take nicely to new things. Plus, what's so wrong with wooden brakes anyway?" "They're dangerous," said Freddie. "They can catch on fire," said Sir Handel. "And," said Duke, "you look flat out silly with them." The engines laughed. "If Duke's insulting you," said Rusty, "I think it's time that you got those changed." "Don't worry, Mighty, you'll be fine." "We'll see about that nonsense," said Mighty. He wasn't so convinced yet. "Let's go," said Mac. "I don't want to be late for our appointment." And the two left the other engines behind. "Thank you for organizing that appointment, Bertram," said Rusty graciously. "Mac has been dying to get new brakes for ages, but Mighty still needed some assistance." "No problem at all," said Bertram. "That's the last appointment I have for all the narrow gauge engines. So once Mighty Mac gets back, you will all be up to professional railway standards. Not only is it safer, but you also must feel better, right?" The engines murmured in agreement. However, Mighty was still unconvinced. "I don't need new brakes," he said. "These ones work just fine, see?" And Mighty applied his brakes hard, bringing Mac to a halt. "Stop it," he said. "You're going to break your brakes before you get new brakes. How silly of you." Just then, Mighty thought of a good idea. "That's it," he said, and the two continued on to the works. That evening, the engines were telling stories when Mighty Mac returned. "Look at my new brakes," said Mac, and he screeched to a stop with ease. "Wow," said Sir Handel, "how fancy." "Let's see your new brakes too, Mighty," said Bertram eagerly. No thanks," said Mighty. "It's been a long day with a lot of traveling, and I need some rest. Good night, everyone." And Mighty shoved Mac into the shed. "Oh, don't worry," said Bertram confidently to the other engines. "I'm sure Mighty will get used to his new brakes." But Mighty hadn't gotten new brakes at the works, and Mac had been too distracted by his new ones that he didn't notice. "Joke's on them," said Mighty cheekily, and he fell asleep. The next morning, Mighty Mac left to go work at the incline where Smudger was waiting. "Aren't you supposed to be at Boulder Mountain?" asked Mighty when he arrived. "Yeah, we're all supposed to do a lot of things," said Smudger. "The work there is so boring anyways. Plus, I heard a rumor that Boulder is in danger of falling off the mountain again, so I told Thumper I'd be sick for the next few days." "Brilliant plan," said Mighty. "I did the same thing at the works yesterday, and didn't get new brakes like I was supposed to. What do you think of that?" Smudger, however, was not impressed. "That's a safety issue," he said, "and it's a little bit different than me skipping work. If those old wooden things split, you're in a heap of trouble. You remember James's story about his crash many years ago, right?" "James probably made that up to scare little engines like you," said Mighty. "I'm not scared, and these old things haven't let me down so far, so there's no harm, really." "Ahem," said Mac, "but I've been here the entire time, and I've heard enough. Mighty, you need new brakes. In fact, I won't work with you until I personally see the workmen put those new parts on you." "Hooray!" said Mighty. "No work for the foreseeable future." "Stop it," said Mac, "and I mean it. Look, here comes the manager. I'm going to tell him everything." The incline winch is stuck again, and I need an engine to go up to the top to see what's the matter, preferably one who has good brakes, in case you need to stop quickly." "Oh, that's an easy choice," said Mighty. "We just went to the works yesterday, Mr. Manager. Here we go." Before Mac could respond, Mighty shot up the incline and stopped at the top. "You sly thing," said Mac. "You're going to get us into trouble." "It's not like Smudger was going to do the job anyway," said Mighty. "Well, here's the problem. One of the slate cars has become derailed and it's holding up the rest of the line. This is an easy fix." Just then, Mighty noticed something below. "Look," he said, "it's Gordon, on his way to pull the express, perhaps." But instead of following the line to the left, Gordon kept going straight and disappeared. Said Mighty. "I've never seen an engine use that track before. I didn't even know there was a line back there." "Stop babbling to yourself," said Mac. "We need to get down before something bad happens." "Nothing bad is going to happen. Now stop complaining, please. You're making me nervous." Mac had had enough. He started to move towards the hill in hopes of getting down, but Mighty countered by moving forward himself. Soon the two engines were locked in a tight battle, back and forth. "Stop it," said Mac. "You're going to make us crash." "I have better wheels than you," said Mighty cheerfully. "They oiled them up at the works yesterday since I didn't get new brakes. I think we know who's going to win this." "Fine," said Mac. "You win." And Mac stopped moving, but Mighty still was. The engines smashed into the slate cars and they fell off the incline. "What was that for?" exclaimed Mighty. "Whoops," said Mac. "Sorry." "I'll show you," said Mighty, and he pushed Mac and himself down the incline. Both engines tried to stop, but they fell off the track into a ditch. "You fool!" shouted Mac. "If you had gotten new brakes like you were supposed to, we would have been able to stop in time." Mighty sighed and realized that Mac was right. Suddenly he sniffed the air. "Do you smell something burning?" he asked Mac. "Sort of." "Wait, Mighty, it's your brakes! They've caught on fire!" The two engines began to freak out, but there was nothing they could do because they weren't on the rails. Luckily, the flames didn't spread and the fire department put it out with ease. Still, the engines felt silly and Mighty's brakes were nothing but ash. "How could this happen?" asked Bertram. "You two just received new brakes yesterday." "I did," said Max snootily, "but my friend Mighty here didn't." Mighty felt very silly. "I should have listened to both of you, Mac and Bertram. I now realize the importance of modern parts, and I won't fight it any more." Sir Topham had arrived and looked at the engines. "I'm glad you've learned your lesson, Mighty," he said. "Gordon found the damaged slate cars by the track on the main line, so I will need to get more of those so that work can continue." Suddenly, Mighty remembered what he had seen. "Sir," he said, "what was Gordon doing on the main line if he wasn't pulling the express?" "Well, I don't know exactly," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I'm sure he was on his way to pull another train, that's all." "No," said Mighty, "I saw him. He didn't follow the main line, sir. He went on to another track and, "What are you talking about?" laughed Sir Topham Hatt. "I think you must have hit your head on the way down. Get some rest, Mighty, and tomorrow you are both going to the works again, this time for proper repairs." Mighty sighed. He realized it would be futile to try and argue with Sir Topham Hatt about Gordon. That evening, Sir Topham Hatt was inspecting the damaged slate cars when Gordon arrived. "I did exactly what you told me to do, sir," said Gordon. "Hopefully nobody saw me. I tried to be as sneaky as possible." "Mighty Mac was messing around on the incline," said Sir Topham Hatt, "and they managed to see you. However, they don't have any idea what you were doing." "Phew," said Gordon. "That was a close call. Now let's head home before anybody else sees us." Sir Topham Hatt climbed aboard and Gordon rolled silently away.